Have you ever felt like you don't really know what's going on with your life, or you don't really know where it's going? You've probably made a list of all your goals, you've probably done a New Year resolution or 10, and it feels as though your internal life's GPS is just very messed up and filled with a lot of detours and wrong turns. Or better yet, you feel as though you are getting your life's path, your life's journey directions from a Jamaican. And we all know that Jamaicans can give directions.
Then you go over, then there's a red man tree, then you go around.
Based on my personal experience, this sense of confusion happens because of one of three things or a combination of the three. So you either don't know where you currently are in your life, or you don't know where you are going with your life. And if you don't know either of those, then obviously you don't know how to get there. So those are the three main reasons why you would be confused, and this video, this process will definitely fix that. I'm Kimani Hall, and welcome to my channel Hauling This Together, where we talk about all things personal growth, organization, and productivity. So we've all heard the quote that says, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. Many times we know that we need to plan ahead, or we need to plan our lives, or we need to at least have a journey, a path, process in mind, but we're not really sure how to go about the planning aspect of it. So in this video, I'll be showing you guys how I have and how you can plan out your entire life in the space of an hour, and how to strategize so that you can actually get to that point where you want to get to from where you currently are, and so that you can take out all of the guesswork and the time wasted trying to figure out how to actually get to that life that you want. It is said that for every minute that you spend planning, you actually shave off 10 minutes in the execution process. And so Kimani likes to plan. Kimani plans everything. In an essence, what we're doing is we are creating our life's map, or our life's GPS. MAP stands for Massive Action Plan, and GPS stands for Goals, Planning, Strategy. Whether we're talking about your life map or an actual physical map or GPS that you use in your day-to-day life, in order for you to actually make use of this GPS or this map, you need to know where you are. The second thing that you need to figure out is where you are going. Then there's only one thing to figure out: how to get there. Now, once you look at a map, you can see, okay, this is one route in order to get to this point from where I am, or this is another route. Right now, we'll be creating a smart map for our lives. The S stands for specific. We need to ensure that this goal is specific and not too vague, not too vast, not too wide, where we're like, this is open to interpretation. The next one is the meaning. What does this mean to you? What will getting this goal mean for you, mean for your life, mean for your ultimate goal or your ultimate dream in your life? It will actually be our driving force or motivation to actually keep going and get these goals, because we know that it means a lot to us. The A stands for asset. What assets do I need in order to actually achieve this goal? R is very important to me, and I feel like it's something that a lot of people overlook, and they don't actually think about these things before, and it usually is what breaks or makes their goal and the achievement of that goal. The R stands for roadblock. What are the roadblocks, the obstacles that are possibly going to get in your way, or could possibly get in your way to prevent you from getting this goal? If you know from before you plan your goal that these are the things that could possibly go wrong or prevent you from getting to your goal, then there's a higher possibility for you to get that goal, because you can plan ahead all the mitigation strategies so that you can actually reach your goal. The T stands for task. What tasks will it take for you? That was hard to say. What tasks will it take for you to actually achieve this goal? Now let's get into the actual process. Okay, so for this process, you're going to need to write this down. So pause the video if you need to. Go get whatever you need. You need a pen, that's for sure. Whatever you choose to record it on, however, is completely up to you. You could use loose paper, a planner, notebook of any size, or you could go soft copy. Let's make it happen. So the first thing that I do is write my heading or my title, and in this case it is Kimani's Life Map or GPS. The next thing we're going to do is to create clarity by doing a brain dump of all our desires and goals. Just look at my number one, you know. Maybe you could help with that. I'm messing with you. But record everything. It doesn't matter how small, how big, how ridiculous it may seem. Once it pops up in your head as something that you'd like to achieve at any given point in your life, record it. Also, for this step, it doesn't matter how many goals you record. It could be 100 if you can. Just record all of the goals that come to mind. The next step is to create a deadline, and the order of this step and the next step is completely up to you, because the next step is to pick 3 to 5, maximum 5 goals from the list that you just created that you'd like to focus on. And we are going to forget all the others. I know it sounds crazy, it sounds ridiculous, but we have to forget all the other ones so that we can actually focus on our top 3 to 5. Maybe we'll get the others, maybe not, and that will be fine. Okay, so we have selected our 3 main goals and we have our deadline. It is important to note that this 1 year is our general deadline, but it is completely fine if we want to have sub-deadlines within that 1 year deadline. So now what we're going to do is we are going to transfer these 3 main goals to a new page. We are going to plan out each goal. So these are the 3 main goals, but we need to break it down for it to actually make sense instead of just being another list of New Year's resolution type goals. Let's draw a line right here and let's start with goal number 1. This is our goal, but we need to make it not just a goal, but a SMART goal. As mentioned, our S stands for specific. We have to ensure that our goal is specific enough that if we look back 5 years from now, we will know exactly what it meant and what it means right now, because it has all the details, all the specifics that will make you know exactly what the goal is. The next one is our meaning. When we have an emotional attachment to a goal, what it will mean for us, what it will change in our lives, we are more likely to actually complete that goal. And if we're ever lacking motivation to complete our goals, then we can go back, read our meaning, which is just our why we're doing this, what it will mean for us if we do achieve this, and that will usually give us the push, the extra energy, the extra motivation that we need to actually go after this goal. And now the assets, all the things, all the equipment, all the resources that we will need in order to actually achieve the goal that we have in mind. And literally record everything that you can think about under each subheading, so the SMART part of the goal, because you're going to need it when you're actually planning and going through the process to achieve your goals. And then the roadblocks, the part that so many people actually miss when they're planning their lives or thinking about their goals. What are all the obstacles that could be in your way or appear down the line that would prevent you from actually achieving your goals? And that way you can be prepared for them, you don't get blindsided, and you can plan or prepare mitigation strategies so that they don't throw you off guard too much. And then the final breakdown is the tasks. The list of tasks that you could, why is that so hard to say, that you would need to do in order to achieve your goals. So small actionable tasks or large tasks, like there is no limitation as long as it's something that you need to do in order to get to that last step of achieving your goal. We need to record it. Take some time, think about your options, and then record it. There can be 500 options or there can be 5. It's really up to you and what your goal is, but ensure that you write everything that comes to mind. And when you think you can't think about anymore, just look at your roadblocks. You'll see me flipping the page back and forth, and that's because I'm looking at my roadblocks. When I read my roadblocks, I can think about all the things that I could possibly do in order to avoid those roadblocks down the line. So I just look at them, read it, and then figure out what steps, what tasks I can take or I can do in order to mitigate that whole situation avoid it, move around it, plan around it. And obviously, in this moment, you won't be able to think of all the options in the world that you may need to do or consider, but this gives you a pretty good starting point. And as always, with everything else, you can tweak it as you go along and make it more relevant to whatever is going on in your life, or you can improve it when you start getting accustomed to using this as your life map, and it will just get easier, if I'm being honest with you. And that is literally it. You have officially planned your first goal from start to finish. All you need to do at this point is repeat with all your other goals. So whether you have 3 or you have 4 or 5, whatever number of goals you have, ensure that you do the same thing. Turn it into a SMART goal and ensure that you list everything that you can think about underneath each category so that it will give you a better life plan. Also, obviously, I sped up the video so that you don't have to sit down to watch me writing down my goals. Well, these aren't my actual goals, but so you don't have to sit down and watch me recording goals for an hour straight. But you can pause the video if you need help or inspiration or just an idea of what to write. And you can read what I've written because they're actually practical stuff. And maybe it will inspire you on things that you can add to your thing. But also remember, every plan should be different and should be custom to your life and what you need from your goals. So we've recorded the goals, we've written the plan, and now the only thing that is left is for us to figure out the strategy or create our massive action plan. So the first thing that you're going to do is that you're going to go through your goals. Now we're going to be focusing mainly on the tasks section of these goals. That is why it was so important for you to write down every single task, whether small or big, that you could think of in order to achieve these goals, because this is how we're going to actually place them in our day-to-day lives. So what you can do is you can go through and place these goals based on priority. Another thing that you could do, which is what I actually do, I add these tasks to different quarters of the year. So a quarter has 3 months. It's a lot easier for you to focus on one task or one project or one goal within a 3-month period as opposed to thinking about the entire 12 months for the year. Now we're going to break down our year into the 4 quarters and we're going to add specific tasks to each quarter. Now I did this part on my laptop because it was a lot easier for me, but if pen and paper is your jam, then that's fine too. Then we can now break them down into smaller tasks for monthly periods, weekly periods, and then to our daily schedule. So to not make this process super long and actually go over the 1 hour, what I usually do is I usually leave the tasks within the quarters instead of breaking it down to the month, then the week, then the day. So I have them in quarters and I have this written down in my planner or on my laptop, wherever it is that I plan my day-to-day or my week or my months. Now what I do is at the end of every month, I have an evaluation session where I go through my goals and I see what things from my goal list I did achieve and what things I need to put over into the next month. And that's when I add whatever additional tasks or things that I need to do this month in order to get to my goal at the end of the quarter. I will go to that month list and I will plan out my week on a week-to-week basis. I know that the things that I'm saying that I will do within that week aren't just a bunch of fluff, a bunch of things to make me seem busy or seem productive, but I know that these things are actually making an impact and they are adding up to what I actually want. Another thing that is great about this is that you break down that big goal into smaller steps, smaller actionable steps, so that it doesn't seem so daunting. It doesn't seem like such a big goal, but instead you actually see the things that you can do on a day-to-day basis that will add up and eventually allow you to make that dream or that goal a reality. Now what I don't want is for you to sit down for this hour and create your life plan but then forget about it within a week. So one thing that you must do is you must keep track of the progress. You must keep track of where you are on the list or what tasks you have that you need to complete in order to get to where you need to get to. So have this plan in a book that you use every day or on a system that you use daily, so that you can always reference this life plan in order to stay on track. Also, as I mentioned before, it is good to plan for the roadblocks before they happen, but keep in mind that life is very unpredictable sometimes, and so give yourself some grace, give yourself room for error or room for change within your plan, and don't be too strict on yourself. Another thing is, if you have your list of goals and you have your deadline and you don't meet your deadline by the end of that point, don't give up. You can, however, extend that deadline. Think about it. If you do this plan and you start working on your goals and you do 10% instead of the full 100, you are now 10% closer to where you want to be in life, as opposed to if you never had any idea before where you wanted to go, how you wanted to get there, or you never took any actionable steps towards these plans, you wouldn't have been anywhere. So that is 10% further ahead than where you would have been if you did not do this plan. So give yourself some grace. Don't be too hard on yourself when you are doing this, and also celebrate the small wins, because that is a win that you probably wouldn't have gotten if you did not take initiative. And just remember that in your life, you are always choosing what to do. You are always choosing what to prioritize. You're always choosing how you spend your time. Even if it doesn't seem that way, you are always choosing. And so if you are creating excuses saying that you don't have time to do these things, you don't have time to plan your life or to go after the goals that you want for yourself, then you are choosing to prioritize other things over the things that matter to you. And in the same sense, if you are choosing to prioritize yourself, your goals, you're also choosing that over all the other things in your life. So if you are choosing to prioritize your career, you are in return rejecting binging series. If you are choosing to wake up early in the morning to have that moment of meditation and prayer or devotion or whatever it is you want within your morning routine, you are rejecting the sleeping in for that day, or you are rejecting staying in bed all day because you have to get up to actually make these actionable steps. So that's it for this video. If you give this method a try, then let me know down below in the comment section. I hope it is as beneficial to you as it is for me. And if you like this video, then stick around for next week's video, where I will show you how to link your life's map to your vision board for ultimate benefits. But until then, just remember to do something today that will help you to be a better version of yourself than you were yesterday.